I am Lance, an emissary of the Confederation of Planets. I greet you now in the love and the light of the one infinite Creator. I communicate with you now. A major mainstream moment is approaching within your collective experience, and many of you sense it the way the body senses a shift in weather before clouds gather. Your species does not receive information only through headlines or official statements. You receive it through field pressure, through dreams, through subtle changes in conversation, sleep, attention, and the way synchronicities begin stacking like stones along a path. What you imagine as a disclosure broadcast, a single sentence spoken by a public figure, is not the revelation itself. It is essential to understand this before the words land, because misunderstanding it will keep you chasing the outside for years while the real doorway stands open within you, quietly waiting for your consent. Broadcast is a permission slip. It is the moment the collective thought form of society receives authorization to speak aloud what countless individuals have already felt, remembered, denied, hidden, mocked, or carried in solitude. It is a social cue that says, this topic may now be discussed. That alone will create waves, because human beings are conditioned to calibrate reality by what is publicly permitted rather than by what is privately known. Many who have lived with intuitive certainty or personal experiences will feel relief mixed with irritation, recognizing an old truth presented in new packaging. The first mainstream moment will likely not match the magnitude of what it touches. Vast truths in your civilization are introduced in small, containable doses, not because reality requires it, but because institutions prefer gradual acclimatization over uncontrolled awakening. When the words are spoken publicly, they will likely be wrapped in qualifiers, boundaries, and careful phrasing. The tone will be chosen as deliberately as the content. A single sentence can open a door while leaving the hallway dim. Definitions will matter deeply, because definitions are fences. They determine what is reasonable, what counts as evidence, what is speculation, what is threat, and what is dismissible. A broadcast may concede anomalous craft while refusing intimacy with origin. It may admit phenomena while avoiding admission of relationship. It may use language such as non-human intelligence in ways that preserve abstraction and distance. Abstraction keeps the soul from becoming personally involved. And when people are not personally involved, they outsource meaning to experts, often selected by the same structures that built the fences. Many have imagined disclosure as a floodlight. What often arrives first is a dimmer switch. The hand on that switch is not cosmic truth. It is institutional management. This does not make the moment useless. It makes it a tool. And tools must be handled consciously. Public language is not private truth. Public language is curated for scale, stability, optics, and the preservation of authority structures. Private truth, by contrast, arrives in quiet moments where there is no social reward and no social punishment. It is what your body knows before your culture approves, what remains when the argument ends. As the broadcast approaches, two traps will present themselves. One is crusade, the urge to convince, argue, prove, and force recognition. The other is consumption, the urge to refresh endlessly, track every clip, build identity around being early or being right. One shackle is confrontation, the other is addiction. Neither serves sovereignty. The broadcast is a social permission event, not a spiritual summit. Let it open conversation without allowing it to define reality. Use it as a lever, not as an altar. When the topic becomes officially speakable, the field will grow noisier. More voices will emerge, more insiders, more competing narratives, more certainty, more fear, more glamour, more salvation fantasies. When a door opens, everything that wants to use that door rushes toward it. In such moments, the human psyche seeks relief from uncertainty by grabbing the first complete story available. Complete stories are often the most dangerous because reality is layered and unfolding. The mind craves certainty because certainty feels like safety. The broadcast becomes a test, not because it proves something, but because it reveals who you become when the collective field wobbles. Do you become a missionary, a cynic, a consumer, a worshiper? Or do you become a stabilizing presence capable of holding paradox without collapsing into performance? The world will change, but not because the phenomenon suddenly exists. It will change because social permission rearranges behavior. Families will revisit old conversations. Institutions will reposition. Religious and scientific identities will strain. The stress will not be on the sky, but on the human need to remain right about the sky. The broadcast is not the arrival of truth. It is the arrival of permission. In earlier cycles, punishment steered silence. In this cycle, reward may steer performance. Both can distance you from sovereign knowing. Freedom looks different. It looks like quiet confidence without aggression, curiosity without obsession, humility without self-erasure. It looks like a heart that can hold mystery without needing the mystery to make you special. If you can hold that posture, the permission slip becomes constructive. It lowers social risk and loosens the collective throat. Conversations become possible not because you gained new evidence, but because stigma softened. Yet a subtler wave may follow. Grief. Grief for how often you waited for authority before trusting yourself. Grief for self-doubt cultivated by cultural conditioning. Let that grief move without hardening into bitterness. Bitterness is another tether. What matters most in the days around the moment is your attention. Attention is creative force, currency, and the steering wheel of timelines. When collective fixation rises, attention becomes harvestable. The obvious harvesting is profit and narrative control. The subtler harvesting is identity formation. Teams will form instantly. Believers versus skeptics, spiritual versus scientific, hopeful versus fearful. Team making is an old spell. Once you choose a team, your attention can be steered. Remain loyal to truth itself, not to the tribe that claims it. Watch the staging carefully. There is an art to admitting something without fully handing it over. Controlled admissions often arrive after denial can no longer hold, shaped as small doorways inside large walls. Permission may be paired with containment. Yes, something exists, but do not worry. Your systems remain intact. Comfort will be intentional. A limited corridor of acceptable interpretation may be built. Craft may be discussable while contact remains taboo. Phenomena may be permitted while relationship is denied. Investigation committees may appear. Time and complexity can function as tranquilizers, dissipating emotional waves. Experts will emerge, some sincere, some positioned. Tone will matter as much as content. The subtle question behind selection will be whether the voice can keep the public within an allowable emotional range. Ridicule may evolve from blunt dismissal to smooth containment. Phrases that sound reasonable yet function as fences. At the same time, glamour will tempt those who long to be seen as early or chosen. Revelation can become identity. When that happens, truth becomes secondary to the persona it creates. Confusion may be amplified intentionally, flooding the space with multiple narratives so that exhaustion sets in and people retreat to familiarity. Retractions may appear, statements floated, reframed, recalibrated. Institutions behave like organisms protecting their shape, testing tolerance and adjusting messaging accordingly. If threat framing dominates, populations may beg for protection, and protection can consolidate power. This is why panic and worship are both invitations to surrender sovereignty. Discernment requires neither naivety nor paranoia. It requires the willingness to let reality be complex without immediately choosing a team. Inside you, a deeper test may unfold. Old wounds of dismissal may surface. The temptation to use the moment for validation may arise. Understandable, but unnecessary. The need to win recognition is another form of outsourcing. Freedom does not need to gloat or convert. Freedom stands coherent and kind while others reorganize. The most important door is not the one opened on a stage. It is the one opened within you when you stop needing permission to remember, when you no longer require external authorization for inner knowing. You are no longer easily guided by how permission is packaged. The broadcast may reorganize the collective dream, but your sovereignty determines whether you are carried by the wave or become an anchor within it. The true revelation is not that something else exists. It is that you have always been participating in a reality larger than the narrative you were handed. Remain centered. Remain curious. Remain sovereign. In the power and the peace of the one infinite Creator. Adonai.